Is my illness caused by narcissistic abuse? You may be asking this question of yourself, and if you clicked on this video, I'm here to help you answer it. And the short answer is it probably was, or at least was a part of the story as to why you're sick now. Narcissistic abuse is extremely stressful to go through, and if you went through it at an early age and throughout your life, and you continue to attract narcissistically abusive partners, then yeah, it may really well be the problem. So in this video, I'm going to talk about why this can happen and what you can do about it from a whole different perspective than what you may be hearing from a lot of other psychologists and doctors. I'm a doctor of transpersonal psychology. I'm Dr. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I help women survivors of parental narcissistic abuse and sexual abuse to heal the emotional root cause of illness and pain in the body, because you're holding that experience in your energy field, and I help people release that from their fields so that they can get well and feel better. Live happier lives. I also help them with nutrition to support the body to heal itself while they're going through their healing process. So, as I said, I'm going to be talking about that illness is connected to narcissistic abuse. And what happens is illnesses are deeply connected to your emotions. Every single thing in life starts with a thought, right? Like if you decide you want to make something, you want to go make a cake, it starts with a thought. Oh, I'm going to go make a cake. And then you need to gather the ingredients, and then you make the cake, and then you get to eat and enjoy the cake. Well, everything in life is like this, where you have to think about it before you create it. The same thing happens in our bodies, and our illnesses can be created by this emotional experience, these negative emotional experiences that we go through over and over and over again. In science, what they've done is they have measured the hormones cortisol and adrenaline. Those two get released in our bodies while we're going through emotionally impactful experiences, while we're going through all different types of traumas. And because narcissistic abuse is emotional abuse, you're being emotionally abused over and over again, you're secreting those hormones to the point where they become toxic to your system. They're supposed to be helping to protect you and signal you when you need help, but when you release them over and over again for years on end, they can actually make you sick over time. It's sort of like the system kind of shorts out in a way and makes it harder for you to heal. Now, I focus mainly on the human energy system. And what I see with narcissistic abuse is your narcissistic abuse is connected directly to the second center of the human energy system, and that is connected to your immune system. That's also connected to the archetype of the inner child. So if you were abused over and over and over again, you were losing energy out of that system of your body, because that's your emotional body. That's where you form your emotional response to things, your emotional reactions. And that is where people will get drained over time. And so what you'll end up with now, they've been saying, and they've actually been saying this for hundreds of years, is that all diseases begin in the bowels, or they begin in the gut. That's your emotional body. Your emotional body is being drained by these abusive experiences, by the stress of that, by the beliefs that the child takes on of, I'm not good enough, I can never get anything right, I am not lovable. If my own parent thinks I'm the most horrible person on earth, then I'm not lovable. So those things carry with you through your adulthood, those beliefs, and they get entrenched in your system and they drain it. So you can have all kinds of different diseases, and some of the top diseases that are associated with narcissistic abuse, one is cancer. Cancer, I always ask the person, what's eating you? What's eating away at you from the inside emotionally? What's draining you? What resentments are you holding on to? What anger are you holding on to from the past? Now, you can't come out of a narcissistically abusive relationship and not be resentful. It is just such a part of what's built into it, because you have no where to go with it. You can't speak up for yourself. You can't say anything. You have this person who doesn't understand you, doesn't see you, doesn't support you, and it in effect is doing the exact opposite of support and is breaking you down. And so that has a tremendous impact on the emotional body, on the inner child, and on the physical body. So these diseases like cancer, which, resentment and anger are really deeply associated with cancer. And another thing is autoimmune diseases. So think about what an autoimmune disease is. Your immune system is literally attacking healthy tissue in your body. Now, the lights should be going on, ding, 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 like, okay, my immune system is my inner child. My inner child self, my immune system is attacking my body. And it's doing it for a lot of reasons, but emotions are one of the reasons that it's happening. You're also, you're going to be holding on to toxicity in the environment because there's so much of it now. We have to try to get through all of these chemicals in our environment, and our body has to process these chemicals. And if your body's in a weakened state, it's going to be so much more difficult to process these chemicals. And this is why you're so sensitive. One of the reasons, I'm sure you came into the world as an empath and it's sensitive, just like I did. And that's why you were chosen as the scapegoat by your narcissistic parent, and why you ended up in narcissistic relationships later on in life, because it was normal. You were used to taking care of somebody else. You were used to focusing on somebody else all the time. And now what you need to do for you is learn to focus on yourself, learn to develop your intuitive abilities to help lead you through your own healing process, to find the things that resonate with you and resonate with your own heart, with your own soul, with your own inner child, reparenting yourself by caring for your inner child. And, I'm certified in an inner child program that is just phenomenal. I mean, it did so much for me. And what it does, and what's really different about it, is it works with the child self and the adult self, and looking at the patterns that get formed with both parts of the self. The child self is your second center of the human energy system, your abdominal area in your body, and the adult self is the third center, your center of personal power in your stomach. And so a lot of us have digestive issues. It's hard to digest life when you are being abused for years on end. And when you start to abuse yourself, because that's the pattern that you were in, and self-abusive illnesses or things that are associated heavily with self-punishment and abuse are things like eating disorders. That's overeating, that's bulimia, that's anorexia. So that's one of the ways that we may punish ourselves. Addiction. I mean, there's just so many interrelated illnesses that come into play, or can potentially come into play. I'm not saying this is exactly what's happening for you. This is not about diagnosing or treating. This is about helping you heal. I love the word to heal because it's the process of getting well. I can tell you I had over a dozen illnesses in my own body, including ulcers, irritable bowel syndrome, chronic migraine headaches. I had depression, of course. I had I had fibromyalgia with chronic fatigue syndrome. 2 positive tests for mixed connective tissue disease, which is a rare autoimmune disease. It's a collection of autoimmune diseases. And I was struck by lightning, and I had brain injuries from that. And I also, I drowned as a child. I'm just like the who's who of victimization. And this is why I do what I do. Because with each thing that I did, the first thing that I did, with each thing I overcame, the very first thing I did, and this is what I want to encourage you to do right now, is really make a decision. I made a decision to do something different with my life. And it may seem like that one phone call you make to what for me was a referral to the chiropractor, that one phone call changed the course of my life because I made a choice to follow my own inner voice and listen to what it was that it was saying to me. So I was able to heal all of this illnesses. So just make one decision. That's all you have to do, is make one decision to do something for yourself today. Make a phone call you've been wanting to make. Read a book you've been wanting to read that people have been recommending to you over and over again. Go outside and take a walk in nature because you've been isolating yourself so much because you're so afraid of the emotions of others, because you're an empath and you're just pulling in all these emotions all the time because that's what you know to do. That's what you've always done, is sponging in those emotions. You don't have to sponge in all the negativity of the world. You really don't. You can sponge in all of the beauty and the greatness and the kindness, the joy of the child who's like jumping around in the sprinklers, you know, the beauty of the leaves on the trees or a flower that's opening up. So you can connect to all of those things, and those things are all very healing for you. So if you are interested in working with me in my inner child program, it's really a one-on-one coaching that I can do with anyone all around the world. We do it via Zoom. It takes us about a month to 6 to 8 weeks or so to work on. We go at your own pace. So I would love to work with you on that, because that's one of the primary healing actions that you can take, is to heal that relationship between the inner child and the adult. And the key difference is that it's not the adult that's doing the healing like in every other inner child program I've ever seen. It's really the most powerful part of yourself, your own soul, that does the healing work. And I help facilitate that for you. So if that sounds great to you, then I would love to work with you. You can book a free call with me, a free consultation. The links are in the description below and also in the comments. And you can, you can talk to me. I would love to talk to you and see if we might be a good fit to work together. If you might be ready for the therapy, you may not be. And I also, if we're not a good fit, I have a huge network of people that I can refer to who might be a better fit for you, for the kind of therapist you may need, or the kind of work that you may need to help you. So I also work with the emotional root cause of illness and pain in the body. The inner child program really does address that as well. You get to see those connections within the program itself. So in other words, how the narcissistic abuse may be affecting your body and how to help you release that by helping to release the inner child from the places inside of you that she's trapped in, inside of your energy system. So anyway, I would love to talk to you. So just let me know if you would like to do that. And if you also have any questions, please put them in the comments below. If you have anything that you would add to this video, if there's an illness that you're struggling with that you think may be associated with the narcissistic abuse that you went through, please put that down in the comments, and we can have conversations there in the comment section for the video. And I just hope that this information really helps you. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I hope this information will help you get